Now, days after the rain finally stopped, so many in South Florida are still dealing with a flood of troubles in neighborhoods.
Government managers are dealing with an overwhelmed water control system and sewage treatment plants that just couldn't handle all the waste. It has caused a stinking nightmare for tens of thousands of people in South Florida. Paul Thompson is one of them. He is the Assistant Utilities Director for the city of Pembroke Pines. Paul, welcome. Glad you were with us. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Sure. Could you give us an update on the situation in Pembroke Pines? How are you doing today with all the water?
Well, Pembroke Pines is doing much better today. We have been assiduously working. We've had a lot of our crews out on the ground, out in the field. We had most of our issues to the western portion of our city, and that really stressed those communities that are in that area. But as of right now, we are seeing no active areas of flooding. We've been drawing down water. We've been doing a lot of work in the areas, so we have no active flooding for the most part. Some areas may have small patches, small areas where the lakes are still at high level. But now we are focusing on clearing the main lines and just lowering the levels in our lift stations.
So, Mr. Thompson, you are doing what so many of your counterparts in other places are doing. And I think we're going to ask you sort of to speak broadly on their behalf, because we watch the headlines, and I think people really do understand we had a lot of water all at once, and the ground just couldn't absorb it all at once because we are a low-lying region. But, you know, this program, we go beyond that. And why can't the systems keep up? Are they antiquated? Is it fixable? What's it going to take for South Florida to stay relatively dry?
Well, let's be fair in the first instance, and understand that the level of precipitation that we received over the 2-day period, November 7th through the 9th, was unusual. We're looking at what amounts to 50 to 100-year flood levels of rainfall. That is not a typical amount of rainfall in our city. For the most part, most of our cities, especially in the newer sections, can handle a fair amount of rainfall, 4 inches of rainfall or so. When you get to 8 inches of rainfall, 12 inches of rainfall, in some cases 15, 18 inches like we got. We had one area in Pembroke Pines that received 21 inches of measured rainfall. Wow. So that is not normal. So it's not that the system is antiquated. And of course, there's always room for improvement. There's always the ability to make things better. But when you're dealing with utility infrastructure, it's never a quick or easy type of situation where you snap your finger and you make it happen. Our leaders have to be a part of it, our engineering team, and everyone has to do it. And then we have to make sure that over the course of years that we implement and upgrade as necessary. Now, I was in touch with pretty much all of the major cities around us, and like you said, they all had the same issues. Now, the older section of our city to the east, where the drainage is not as good, fortunately received less rainfall. So the effect may have been similar with 8 inches of water there as we saw out west with 15 inches of water. So there are areas that need some rebuilding, and we in Pembroke Pines, we're doing an excellent job of that, because our area to the east is being retrofitted and upgraded. We've upgraded the water lines, and we're upgrading the sewer lines in those areas. So we are on a path to improve our situation. So I can only speak for my city in that regard.
Paul, we understand. Sort of the master controller of this complex water control system in South Florida is, of course, the South Florida Water Management District. I like to say the most powerful and underreported government agency in South Florida. Huge job they've got. How would you rate the job they did to sort of lower water in the canals, to do everything they could prior to the arrival of the water from Eta?
Well, there's two parts to that also, because we all planned for a storm. The reality is none of us knew what type of a storm or what level of storm we were about to get. So I am pretty sure that the South Florida Water Management District, I'm sure that the Broward Drainage District, the Broward County Drainage District, they all prepared. because we prepared in our city and we were still inundated. So I'm pretty sure we all prepared, but we did not expect the level of rainfall over the time period that we received. So I can't say that they did not prepare well or they did not prepare sufficiently. What I can say is that it's a great learning experience. So regardless of the type of system that's coming on shore and affecting our areas, I am reasonably sure that going forward, we will all prepare to a higher level. We'll make sure that we go that extra mile. So if they drew down 5 feet in the canals and so on, I'm sure the next time they're going to start earlier and they're going to try to draw down 10 feet if that's what it requires.
I'm going to ask just one question that you might be or might not be comfortable answering, but your city, Pembroke Pines, is built right up to the edge of the Everglades, as are others. Should it be?
Well, unfortunately, we can't change that at this point. You know, we're already there. So what we have to do is manage what we have. And, you know, just the fact that the furthest reach of our city to the west is a community by the name of Holly Lake. And I'll be honest with you that Holly Lake did not have, you know, the type of issues that some of the other areas that are close to Holly Lake had. But Holly Lake literally sits in the Everglades. So I think, you know, with proper management, we'll have to work with what we have. We already have the communities right up to the Everglades. I don't think we need to be building additional communities into the Everglades, to answer your question better.
A gracious answer, and thank you for being a good sport about that. Paul Thompson, thanks so much. Appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you, and thank you so much.
You're welcome.